Hey, Monarchs for you today. The Lightrays are back, and oh my gosh, Dark Magician Power Patrons. Make sure you guys smash the link crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. Jathonian, or the new chaos monster of madness, with some support from the new Monarch cards. You know, the fact that you can just foolish barrel down 4 Monarchs, special summon out a monster, and you're just kind of like, oh, this is all right. You know, this is the world of Yu-Gi-Oh that we live in, that we want to see. Now, I thought this Monarch list was pretty spicy in terms of what they were drafting up with the concept of the idea that you could kind of work with here in order to, you know, decently build up a board and try to, you know, do something with it. And that's what we look for when we're looking at these different levels of ideas, is, you know, what's going to be the most innovative to kind of work out. And honestly, I thought of this, and I do kind of appreciate this. This might actually be a list I do want to sit down and actually test, because there's a lot of good methods to this. Next up is you guys might remember, like, Lightray Daedalus, Lightray Greffer, these light monsters that haven't really seen any amount of play. Well, this list, yes, it does play yummy cards, but I saw the end board for this list because they were talking about the theory behind this. And this deck can make some of the craziest end fields that I have seen in this game in a very, very long time. And that's not exactly something that you're going to think about that these Lightray monsters were, I feel like, originally designed to do. You know, you're going to look at these and you're going to be like, huh, you know, this just looks like a pile of garbage. Honestly, sit down, build this, start to test through the combo lines with this, because there are some very, very stupid things you can see. Also, down here in the side deck, I do love that Invincible and Neuralis become options to bring to the table. So cool. Next up, we have probably some of the more basic meta challengers that we've been having. You know, one thing you're going to tend to notice when you're dealing with these Power Patron lists is, you know, Shining Sarcophagus or the Dark Magician package usually kind of follows up with a decent amount of, you know, support interactions that you can kind of get with this, which is just fine. Also remember, because they have access to Chorozo, you can technically Chorozo with level 6, and congratulations, you suddenly have access to, you know, Baron to 4, which kind of gets a little bit crazy for some of the end board pieces that you can kind of work with. I know, right? It's stupid just to see these different ideas coming together and actually kind of going, oh, hey, you know, this works. Obviously, you know, having the Cyber Magician in here, giving you access to the illusion to get into the spellcaster side of things. Yeah, that's a lot. Next up here, we have Enneacraft. Holy crap, man. You do not see a lot of people rushing out and trying to build Enneacraft right now. I think, honestly, this deck just kind of went back into the ocean of ideas that players are just kind of like, you know, we'll come back to this later. And obviously, I mean, that's fine. I do think that when you are looking at decks like this, you do have to understand the control aspect. Sometimes it's a little bit harder to achieve certain results with these lists. And I think that does kind of detour some players from wanting to look at this. Obviously, you know, you do kind of have to rely on, like, going first or going second. And if you're going second, I mean, I hope the best for you. Like, I hope your opponent extended enough for you to be able to actually use the sphere mode to crack their field. Because typically, if they don't actually set up enough for you to sphere mode their life away, you know, you're going to typically have some issues. But that's just kind of what you're dealing with when you're choosing to approach this deck. So kind of keep that in mind. Next up here, we have Cyberdarks with the new Overfuture fusion. One consistent thing I have seen with these lists is, you know, players are going to try to test out some little other innovations. Now, this list actually playing the Bamboo Sword package. I'm not exactly sure what our payoff is with this. Maybe it's just they looked at the Bamboo Sword package. They're like, hey, you know, this fuels us digging further into the deck. You know, we can use it as a draw package, you know, because we do kind of have to find that future fusion in order to kind of get the job done. Obviously, you know, your opponent putting monsters on the field means that you can start equipping right away without having to set up any sort of real commitments on your side of the things. But also, with all the equips, we do have access to the Power Tool Synchro Monster as well. So there are some little caveats to, you know, building in these little extra engine pieces to make these lists work. Next up here is Kuribo with fiends. I'm actually surprised that they got the new fiend monster in here, because I swear a lot of people weren't exactly too, you know, interested in that card. But I do see we are doing the Simul Archfiends in here, or the trap card that puts the tokens on the opponent's field for you to be able to do the thing. And I do think it does have Archfiends in the name, so it is technically fit into the theme of this deck. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're actually making themed fiend decks to actually do things and actually have it work out. But okay, well, I mean, once again, I mean, this is just another one of those really weird, somebody came up with a concept, somebody threw it at the dartboard, and you know what, it actually looks like it might have worked out in the end. So definitely, I don't know, man, I'm actually pretty impressed to see somebody actually cooking with fiends of all things. Next up here, we have Tunes. Now, I mean, remember, we're going to be exiting out of this insane format here, which you're going to be seeing things like Droll and Lockbird actually getting some limitations on them as the list is going to shift. But this actually paints the picture to you on how, like, chaotic a deck like this actually was for the meta. You know, having the triple Droll and Lockbird, the triple Harmonium, the triple, you know, everything in this list, be able to kind of turbo through things. I do also find it funny that we are playing the Shooting Riser Dragon in here. Shooting Riser's job is to be able to, you know, mill down some tuner monsters for you to be able to get that multi-attack. And obviously, you know, a deck like this has got plenty of tuners in it for you to be able to do your thing. So, I don't know. We have some cool ideas present in this list. I think it'll take a little bit more time for this to get flushed out and adjusted. You know, less Droll and Lockbird's definitely going to be a good thing for this deck. Next up is a Blue Eyes White Dragon. Now, this list is playing the triple Blue Eyes with the Kaiba Man. Which is interesting to me because choosing to play the Kaiban usually means that maybe you want to play the Chaos Max into the build, and maybe you want to get a little bit greedier with the Magia, but this list is just foregoing all that extra little fat along the way, which I don't really hate. You're also only playing one of the new Blue Eyes. I mean, you have Mulcharmies and Maxi in the main deck, you know. These are going to be cards that will be able to kind of filter through and get you into those better options, which is good. You also do see we are playing 6 Dominus. This is fine. These Dominus cards are going to actually do quite a lot for you in what you need to see. Also, shout out to Harmonium. I mean, Harmonium just makes so many of these different ideas kind of come together. And I actually think it's a pretty interesting design space for what we've been seeing for the evolution of this game so far. Next up is Speedoids. Ooh, feeling fancy today. Obviously, you know, OCG has access to Auroradon, which just changes so many of the different methods of building a field that you can actually do with this. I also do see down here in the side deck, we are side decking the new Clearwing, which I think is fine. I don't really see any issues with that. We've also got the triple Synchro Emergency down in the side deck as well. So I guess Speedoids are one of the decks that could, and fundamentally in theory, can take advantage of the synchro lines and be able to jump through those actual hoops to be able to get a decent setup on a board. So I actually do kind of like that. I just wish we had access to Auroradon too, because play lines like this and making decks like this would be a lot cooler in terms of innovation. It's just we don't really get the chance to see these boards kind of coming together enough to get a flourishing idea of what we can do. And then we have Infernity. Wow, I have not seen an Infernity list in a very long time. It's so crazy still seeing Transmodify being a playline here. The triple barrier still going to be your end board piece. This build is playing downbeat as well, so you can kind of adjust your level modifications so you can actually get those bigger monsters set up. But man, this is so nostalgic actually seeing somebody, you know, being able to do something with this. And also, you know, triple launcher is very, very, very real. I think to play this deck in modern times is going to be, it takes a crazy amount of skill. But what do you guys think about everything here? Please leave a comment down below what you guys think. I'll see your beautiful faces back here in day, guys. Patrons! Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.